So it's already March 29, 2025, and we are already on the end of the third month nung ating 6-month long na COMELEC gun ban here in the Philippines. Now, for those of you who live overseas, the COMELEC gun ban is a thing that happens here in the Philippines, a very anti-gun thing that happens wherein the Commission on Elections gets to order the PNP, Philippine National Police, to prevent everyone from carrying firearms outside the their residence during an election period. The election period is like at least 6 months, right? So that means if you're a lawful gun owner like me, your guns have to stay at home for this duration, even if you have permit to carry firearm outside residence or permit to transport firearms outside your residence. All of that doesn't work during a COMELEC gun ban unless you get a COMELEC certificate of exemption from the gun ban, which is very ridiculous to obtain because it's very expensive, number one. And if your application gets denied, you still have to pay the fee. It takes a long time to get one. Sometimes the COMELEC gun ban is already done and you're still waiting for your COMELEC certificate of exemption to arrive. So obviously ridiculous. But we're not here to talk about the COMELEC gun ban per se. We are here to talk about the surprise and arbitrary gun bans that happen outside a COMELEC gun ban. These are the gun bans that happen outside an election season. This is something that is very annoying, can be very annoying because they pop up in all places in the country. Unlike the COMELEC gun ban, which covers the entire Philippines, arbitrary gun bans, as I would like to call them, arbitrary surprise gun bans are far more intellectually bankrupt in a sense that they can happen anywhere in the country and it can be for absolutely ridiculous reasons, as I will show you now. During the COMELEC gun ban, of course, I'm going to show you over here. So far, the mainstream media, a very anti-gun mainstream media, is celebrating that 1,808, for example, election gun ban violators from Inquirer.net have already been arrested so far. Ironically, a lot of them are also, well, vast majority of them are civilians, but we also have a lot of them being police and armed forces of the Philippines personnel. Yes, even the PNP and AFP personnel who are off duty are not exempted from this, so even they get arrested for this. Now, if you are caught in a COMELEC gun ban or you're caught in a gun ban, you will typically be put to prison for 1 to 6 years, depending on the findings. So, terrible. But we are going to talk about the other gun bans that happen outside a COMELEC gun ban. Let's begin with this example. A ridiculous one. A suspension of PTC FOR in Metro Manila due to the hosting of the Asia Pacific Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction. What's absolutely ridiculous about this, guys, is that this conference only happens in a very small part of Metro Manila, but the entire Metro Manila is under a gun ban. Now that is quite shitty. If you are traveling to and from Metro Manila and this gun ban happens and you're carrying a gun, you are going to be in trouble. You will be arrested for it, even if you have a valid permit to carry firearms outside residence, or even if you have a PTTFA. Now notice in this gun ban, they also have over here the date at which it was announced, October 11, 2024, and the date in which it was implemented, October 13. Guys, you are given an announcement of like just 2 days? What if you're outside the country and you're returning here after having joined an international sports competition? You're gonna land at NAIA Airport, you have your gun with you, and you will be given a surprise arrest for violating the COMELEC gun ban. That is how it usually happens with these damn things. So it's really annoying and very, how should I say, backwards that they implement rules like this. And take note, guys, that under the Civil Code of the Philippines, you need to announce these things way in advance, right? Like, it has to be at least 2 weeks, but now they're making these announcements and implementing them under 48 hours. Imagine, there are at least 5 million people living in Metro Manila and this news has to spread within 48 hours. Otherwise, you won't even know it's there, the gun ban. You will travel around with your firearm, and then lo and behold, someone's gonna catch you at a checkpoint, and checkpoints will be deployed all over the place. Surprisingly deployed. You are going to be arrested for violating a gun ban. Off you go to prison, even though you have a permit. That is the ridiculous thing about this, which is why I find it to be devoid of intellect and utterly contemptuous against existing lawful gun owners. It's only the criminals who don't follow this law, and they will not be affected by this. Now, another ridiculous example that we have for these arbitrary gun bans is a gun ban to be implemented for Davao Ironman Triathlon. So apparently, we now need a gun ban for a triathlon. Utterly ridiculous, guys. I want to use a lot of four-letter harsh words and adjectives to describe this, but we got to remain civil. All I can say is that you really don't need a gun ban for an Ironman triathlon, because I don't remember lawful gun owners shooting triathlon runners, right? We don't do that. We're lawful gun owners. We follow the law. And I don't understand why we need something like this. I mean, do the contestants need a gun during the triathlon? Do they shoot each other during a triathlon while they're swimming, while they're running, while they're biking? That is utterly ridiculous and intellectually bankrupt. I don't know why they had to do this. I think that whoever it is that thought about this is really anti-gun, and they want to show off their power over a lawful gun owners by implementing this gun ban. I can't understand how this happens. Now, guys, just to be clear, we are not advocating for people to not follow gun bans, okay? That is not the point of this video. The point of this video is to inform and educate everyone about what happens when an arbitrary gun ban takes place and how ridiculous they can be. But despite this, I want to be clear with you guys, and this is a warning. You must follow the gun ban no matter how you feel about it, because it is the law. We must follow the law, guys, because we are lawful gun owners, which is why me and our friends from the technical working group, Senate Bill 2895, are working hard to make it so that only a president can order an arbitrary gun ban. It can't just be sports organizers or conference leaders or conference organizers who can request for a gun ban. That is ridiculous. We must follow the law. We must follow these gun bans no matter how ridiculous they are, no matter how we feel about them. So anyway, here we go. This is a Davao Ironman Triathlon. A gun ban for this. Totally unnecessary. Totally not going to help reduce crime, but here they are doing it anyway. I have no words for things like this. It's just so against lawful gun owners. They're punishing lawful gun owners. Now, in other parts of the country, as a result of the war in Marawi, we also have this gun ban that also covers Maguindanao, Lanao del Sur, and 63 other barangays of North Cotabato. I really hope that this is no longer in effect. I really don't know up to this point in time, but I don't think that a gun ban should extend further than is needed to complete a military operation, because this is, again, it is an attack on gun owners. That's what it is, because when there's a gun ban, your license is pretty much useless. You can't go out and practice your firearms, guys. You can't use them. So the gun bans apply to people no matter what your purpose is. If you're going to leave the house with a firearm, doesn't matter if you just want to go to the range and practice your shooting skills, practice using your firearm, you will be arrested. A gun ban is a gun ban. You can't leave home with your firearms during a gun ban. So this is another example of a wider gun ban, unlike the one in Davao, which is localized, and the one in Metro Manila, which is also localized. This one is a much bigger geographic region of the Philippines. Now, this is really ridiculous because we have another here example of a gun ban. And it's funny how the PNP doesn't even call it a gun ban. They call it a suspension of PTC FOR. Here we have one for the Philippine hosting of the 11th meeting of the Council of ASEAN Chief Justices. Absolutely ridiculous, because what do lawful gun owners have to do with this, guys? Why do they have to be inconvenienced by a meeting of the Council of ASEAN Chief Justices? What do I have to do with this? Why can't they just leave me alone so that I can go to the range and practice shooting a few rounds, just to make sure that I don't get rusty? But here, we still have it. And they have a suspension of the PTC FOR. And now this one covers like 2 days. Still ridiculous if you ask me. If other nationalities want to come to the Philippines, they shouldn't ask for a gun ban. They should respect the fact that Philippines is a country that respect its citizens' desire to have tools for self-defense, and they shouldn't ask for gun bans like this. It's just disrespectful of lawful gun owners. And I understand that gun ownership here in the Philippines is a privilege, but we shouldn't really set aside such privileges for utterly unrelated meetings and events such as this that have nothing to do with lawful gun owners, because gun owners don't go around and shoot people who join these things, And again, I would like to mention that gun ownership, lawful gun ownership only is the one that's being covered by these gun bans, and these things do not affect criminals. It should be noted, guys, that lawful gun owners are inconvenienced by gun bans. A few of them will end up getting caught in them because they don't know that there's a gun ban. This is very true for senior citizens who no longer have as sharp of a memory as they used to be. So, and they're not tech savvy. They're going to miss this news in social media. A lot of them don't have Facebook accounts. So a lot of them can get caught up in something like this and can go to jail without them even knowing that they're violating the law because of an arbitrary gun ban. And in a city in the Philippines, for example, a city whose name starts with a P and ends with a G, there are a total of, across 4 years, by the way, in this data over here, we have a grand total of 441 firearms-related crimes that were committed. And out of all of them, 2 were done with issued firearms to law enforcement and military, and 7 were done by lawful gun owners. So across 4 years, we have 7 crimes done by lawful gun owners. And as you can see over here, 3 of these were because they violated the gun ban. So the gun ban is actually turning lawful gun owners into criminals just because they might have missed it. They don't know that there's a gun ban, or they forgot that they had a gun in their car or something like that. So utterly ridiculous, I find this. Here's another data on that one. And finally, another example of a gun ban is during the SONA, or the State of the Nation address. Every time that the President Marcos does something like this, or whoever president it is, typically we see a gun ban. I find this really strange because lawful gun owners present absolutely no threat to our president. It boggles the mind. If somebody, for example, and let's play devil's advocate here, if somebody wanted to assassinate the president, do you think that they will follow the gun ban? I don't think they would, because they are already a criminal, and criminals don't follow the gun ban. They don't do that. I would like to point out that these gun bans are dumb, I find. A lot of them are absolutely ridiculous. They do not reduce gun crimes because criminals don't follow gun bans. And they only serve to turn lawful gun owners into criminals and get them arrested, because these gun bans can happen out of nowhere. And take note, guys, these are arbitrary gun bans. This is not just the COMELEC gun ban. As you can see over here, this is one practice I find in the Philippines that is utterly ridiculous, because in other countries, they don't have election gun bans, nor do they have gun bans like this. Imagine having a gun ban for an Ironman triathlon event. That's just ridiculous. So anyway, I hope you learned something from this video, guys, and please be vigilant if there's a gun ban in your area. They can happen all the time, even outside an election season. So if you like this video, please consider sharing it with your friends so that they can also learn from it. But at the same time, I would like to thank everyone for participating in our community, for watching these videos, and even a bigger thanks to all those who donated to the channel. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your continued viewing of these videos, and I hope you learned a lot from our little talk here on arbitrary gun bans. Surprise arbitrary gun bans. Thank you for watching.